A new set of mods have been introduced into Destiny 2 in Season of the Chosen called Elemental Well mods. They share characteristics with Warmind Cell and Charged with Light mods, allowing you to create builds and gain some benefits across a number of abilities. Today I'm going to have a look at Elemental Well mods, where to get them, what they do, and also some build examples. So if you like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. Well, Elemental Well mods are the third iteration of armor mods that introduce a bunch of benefits, for example helping you get your super faster or increasing your weapon damage. They're similar to Charged with Light mods, where you've got one mod to spawn or create the effect and then another mod to apply that benefit. Let's check out what an Elemental Well is. So Elemental Wells are small, colourful orbs that grant ability energy when they're collected. So they are similar to orbs of power, which help you get your super faster, and they sit on the ground waiting to be picked up. When you spawn an Elemental Well, it appears for the whole fire team. So next up, let's have a look at what they do. So when you pick up an Elemental Well, you get 10% ability energy to your ability with the lowest current energy. And if you get a well that matches your subclass element, then you're going to get 10% to all of your abilities. That's grenade, melee, and class ability. So they last for about 20 seconds on the ground, and they're compatible with arc, void, solar, and stasis. Now, Elemental Wells have a limit on their spawn rate, and it's approximately 1 every 2 to 4 seconds. So Elemental Wells don't spawn in Crucible at the moment, so it's an exclusive PvE benefit right now. And all exotic armor and Year 4 Beyond Light armor can equip these mods too. Next up, let's have a look at how to get the Elemental Well mods. So what you want to do is make your way to the helm and check out the war table, and you'll find the mods there. So these mods rotate weekly, so check back at reset on Tuesday and check out the available Elemental Well mods. And each mod costs 3 mod components. Well, let's take a closer look at the mod, and mods that can help spawn the wells are called Elemental, and then the mods that provide the benefit are called Font. So let's start out with how to generate Elemental Wells. So first of all, we've got Elemental Charge, and this costs 2 energy, so you can become Charged with Light by picking up an Elemental Well, and if the Elemental Well's element type matches your subclass element, then you gain 2 stacks of Charged with Light. And if you've got stacks on stacks applied already, then a matching element well gives you 4 stacks of Charged with Light rather than 3, and non-elemental wells grant 2 stacks of Charged with Light. Next up, we've got Elemental Ordnance, and that costs 3 energy, so defeating a combatant with a grenade spawns an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type, and here it's best to use Vortex, Thermite or Pulse grenades to get the most out of this mod. Next up, we have Elemental Light. This costs 1 energy, so defeating a combatant with your super spawns an elemental well that matches your subclass type, and roaming supers are probably best for this, and the super has to have the final blow. And the final one is Elemental Armaments, and this costs 2 energy, so weapon takedowns with a damage type that matches your subclass element has an escalating chance to spawn an Elemental Well. So there's approximately a 10% chance to spawn a well, and this stacks until a well spawns, and it works in a similar way to Charge Harvester. So you have to have a weapon that matches your subclass, and one is going to spawn every 6 to 10 kills. The stasis users are at a slight disadvantage at the moment, as they only have Salvation's Grip for a stasis weapon right now, but we are going to get more stasis weapons added into the game in later seasons. Well, next up, let's have a look at the benefit Elemental Well mods, and they are called Fonts. So first of all, we've got the Font of Might, and that costs 4 energy, so picking up an Elemental Well that matches your subclass energy grants a temporary bonus to weapon damage of that same elemental type. So this effect also stacks with other damage buffs like high energy fire, and it lasts about 3 to 5 seconds. And this only buffs weapon damage matching your subclass, so if you're running arc on your subclass, then it's going to boost your arc weapon damage. And finally, we've got the Font of Wisdom, again costing 4 energy, so picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy grants you a temporary significant increase to your intellect, improving the recharge rate of your super. So this gives you a 50 plus intellect boost for about 30 seconds, so this one is going to boost your super regeneration significantly, and it's worth noting that intellect cannot go above 100. So the elemental wells work where you select the way you want to spawn the wells, for example using grenades, supers and weapons with the same damage as your subclass. Then you pick the effect, which is either improved weapon damage or improved super regeneration. And these mods work well with other perks and traits on weapons and armour that complement them. So here are a few example builds that demonstrates the possible combinations. So first of all, we've got a Titan build. I'm using the Middle Tree Arc subclass. I'm using the Insurmountable Skull Fort for the armour. For the weapons, I'm using Bad Juju and Eternal Blazon because I've got Thresh on this one. And for the mods, I'm using Elemental Armaments and the Font of Wisdom. So this is a simple build that's going to help you get your super as much as possible. So something like Bad Juju, it's going to be good with its perk called String of Curses, as kills provide super energy. We've also got a perk in the last few seasons called Thresh, where killing combatants gives you a little bit of super energy on each kill. So if you've got an energy weapon with Thresh and it matches your subclass, then this could take advantage of Elemental Armaments mod to generate wells. And that could be paired with Font of Wisdom, and that's going to give you a massive boost to intellect, and you're going to be getting your super a lot. Next up, let's have a look at a Warlock build, and for this one I'm using Nezrak's Sin, I'm using Bottom Tree Voidwalker, and for the weapons I'm using Dead Man's Tail, Bottom Dollar, and that one has a Demolitionist perk on it, and using Falling Guillotine too. For the mods I'm using Elemental Ordnance, Elemental Charge, Font of Wisdom and Lucent Blade. So for this example we're going to be using Elemental Ordnance to help spawn wells through grenade kills, and then using the Font of Wisdom to generate super energy. You can combine this with Elemental Charge to become charged with light and improve your weapon damage through another mod, and here I'm using Lucent Blade. Given you're using Elemental Ordnance to generate wells through grenade kills, then getting more grenade energy is going to be key, so pairing this up with Demolitionist weapon perk is a really good option. So by killing enemies with energy weapons and Demolitionist, you're going to be generating grenade energy on that kill, plus pairing it up with Insatiable, that is a perk on Bottom Tree Voidwalker, and that's going to help you get your grenade back much faster. Then picking up the welds are going to help you get your super, so this build is going to be very effective in all types of PvE activities. And finally for the Hunter build, I'm using the Raiden Flux for the exotic armour, I'm using Bottom Tree Arcstrider for the subclass, and for the weapons I'm using the Seraph Revolver, the Iclos SMG and Warcliffe Coil. So you can see the arc affinity running through the subclass and the weapons, and for the mods I'm using Elemental Charge, Elemental Armaments, Font of Might and Argent Ordnance. So all of this can be combined to create Warmind Cells 2, and here I'm focusing on the arc element. Raiden Flux plus Bottom Tree Arcstrider, they go together really well. I'm going to be using the Elemental Armaments to generate wells with arc weapons like Iclos SMG and the Warcliffe Coil. The Iclos SMG is going to help generate Warmind Cells as well as the kinetic Seraph Revolver, and I can improve the damage output of the Warcliffe Coil through Argent Ordnance for a 20% improvement to rocket damage. And the Font of Might is going to improve weapon damage too, making this a very effective build in PvE. So those are some examples of some good builds, but it'd be really good to hear from you about some builds you've created with the Elemental Wells. And I'd love to know what builds you've put together, and you should share them down there in the comments. Well, that is pretty much it related to Elemental Well mods. We're a few iterations into the mod crafting with Destiny 2 at the moment. I recommend doing a little bit of research, as these mods are going to make PvE much more fun and your Guardian more destructive. And the Elemental Wells don't feel quite as powerful as Warmind Cell or Charged with Light mods just yet, but I think we need to give them some time to bed in. As I say, let me know down in the comments what you think of this guide for Elemental Wells, and let me know what builds you've put together. Well, that is it for this guide on Elemental Well mods in Destiny 2, and as always, thank you so much for watching. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. If you want to join the community, check out the Discord link in the description, or you can follow me on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Thanks again, I'll see you in the next video.